6 p.m. in City Chemist, Bamenda. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. The father of the 14-year-old junior who was accused on social media of impregnating two girls of Form 2 in the Bafoussam 3 subdivision west region of Cameroon threatens to sue government school Junang for making his son become a subject of mockery after a picture of him kneeling down in between two girls went viral on social media. Speaking to Equinoxe TV, the father says his son did not impregnate anyone but was rather being punished for civil absences while both girls were being interrogated for theft. To be having greater details in this edition of the news. And out of Cameroon, at least 15 persons have been killed by unidentified gunmen in Pibor region, South Sudan. Meantime, few weeks to the holding of presidential elections in Chad, opposition candidates condemn the new electoral code, saying it is not transparent. Those are major stories. Stay with us for details and more. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. You made the right choice. A psychosocial expert has condemned the propagation of fake news, highlighting the devastating consequences of such unlawful activities in the victims, their families, and the society at large. Professor Maurice Somo was reacting to the recent case of 3 students involved in some issues of misconduct transformed into fake news by social media users. Babila Jonathan reports.
The news of this student putting his 2 female schoolmates in the family way went viral on social media until Equinoxe television went to their school and found that it was fake news. They were rather involved in some issues of misconduct in their school.
Cela constitue pour eux un traumatisme.
Educational psychosocial expert Professor Maurice Somo points to the traumatic consequences both the fake news and its propagation could have on the students. He adds that
il y a comme un rejet de la société vis-à-vis de ces enfants.
They will feel rejected by the society, and the sense of rejection could live with them a whole lifetime with far-reaching consequences which he qualifies as catastrophic.
Nous sommes ici dans une situation qui n'est ni plus ni moins sur le plan psychologique qu'une catastrophe. Ils peuvent refuser carrément le mariage.
They could reject marriage or any other thing that is connected to emotions.
Ils ne vont plus avoir la concentration nécessaire.
They may no longer be concentrated in their academic work and could end up as school dropouts.
C'est-à-dire qu'ils vont quitter le milieu scolaire. Voilà. Il faut un travail profond.
He prescribes psychosocial support to dismantle any traumatic obstructions to normal life that might have resulted from the fake news and its propagation, punishable by the December 2010 law relating to cybersecurity and cybercrime in Cameroon.
Henceforth, to obtain a medical report, one will need to give additional 600 francs to the usual 3,500 francs. Meanwhile, the official amount to obtain a medical certificate stands at 900 francs. This is contained in a joint release published by the Minister of Public Works. In the following report, Malak Lere explains the difference between a medical report and a medical certificate. Her report.
The procedure for establishing and issuing a medical report form will henceforth cost higher than it used to be, a difficult situation to most Cameroonians. This is summarized in a joint press release from the Minister of Public Health and his counterpart from the Civil Service and Administrative Reform. For this essential document in the constitution of the integration and contractualization files of public agents in the public service, one will now have to pay the sum of 3,500 francs plus 600 francs representing charges, making a total of 4,100 francs. While the official amount to obtain a medical certificate is 900 francs. If the cost of obtaining a medical report is considered costly by Cameroonians, the ministries concerned indicate that this decision is part of the desire to rationalize the procedure for issuing the said document, taking into account the deviation observed in the process for obtaining the document, which makes it possible to judge the physical and moral aptitude of the applicant. Its delivery will now be done exclusively by approved medical personnel under the supervision of the National Health Council. A barcode, reliability and traceability of the document, thus excluding the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reforms delegates. However, a medical report should not be confused with a medical certificate. A medical certificate is simply a statement from a physician or any medical officer which attests the results of the medical examination of the patient, while a medical report is a comprehensive document prepared by a medical professional for legal or insurance purpose.
Now we talk religion. The Archbishop Emeritus of the Yaoundé Archdiocese, Monsignor Victor Tonye Bakot, accuses the current head of the Yaoundé Archdiocese, His Grace Jean Barga, of not paying his complete pension. Reacting to the accusations, His Grace Jean Barga on his part says the accusations are false and that it is aimed at discrediting the Yaoundé Archdiocese. Annabella tells us more.
Endowed by Shanda Tomé, a lay Catholic faithful of the Our Lady Queen of the Apostles Cathedral in Yaoundé, says that the Archbishop Emeritus of the Archdiocese of Yaoundé, Monsignor Victor Tonye Bakot, doesn't receive the complete amount of the financial allowances which he is due. Adding that Monsignor Tonye Bakot receives less attention from the head of the diocese, who is His Grace Jean Barga. In what seems like a quick response, His Grace Jean Barga, in a communique, counteracts the words of Shanda Tomé and qualifies his outing as defamatory, aimed at discrediting the Yaoundé Archdiocese. His Grace Jean Barga states clearly that according to the canonical and ecclesial norms, the Emeritus Archbishop Victor Tonye Bakot, since his resignation in 2013, receives his complete pension plus other financial benefits. His domestic staff are being paid. He's got total health insurance, buying and maintaining of cars put at his disposal, among others. All the above expenses are being borne by the Archdiocese of Yaoundé. Worthy of note is that it's not the first time that Monsignor Victor Tonye Bakot or his close ones come out publicly to cry out loud that he is being neglected or poorly taken care of by His Grace Jean Barga. In 2019, the then brother of the Yaoundé Archdiocese, a certain Roland Amougou, went public to say Monsignor Victor Tonye Bakot's health was failing, with very little or no attention from the Archdiocese of Yaoundé. His Grace Jean Barga again, in another communique, counteracted that, according to him, his predecessor, Monsignor Victor Tonye Bakot, is properly taken care of and has very little or nothing to complain about.
And we stay in religion, as Ramadan, being one of the holiest months in the Muslim calendar, plays an important role in the boosting of the faith of Muslim faithful as they observe their daily fasting. They decry the very harsh climatic conditions which makes the fasting quite difficult for them. Our reporter Cedric Chakucho visited the mosque in the Dolatu subdivision and compiled this report for the 6 p.m. news.
Muslim faithful across the world during the Ramadan fasting are called upon to abstain from food, drinking and other worldly practices.
Le mois de Ramadan déjà c'est un mois d'abstinence et durant lequel on accomplit un des grands piliers de l'islam, à savoir le 3e ou le 4e pilier de l'islam selon les écoles. Et durant cette période, le musulman s'abstient pas seulement de manger, parce qu'il y a la nourriture spirituelle et puis il y a la nourriture que nous mangeons pour nourrir notre corps. Et durant cette période-là, on souhaite qu'un musulman se comporte.
The faithful say fasting during the dry season is challenging due to increased temperatures. Thus they pray to God to grant them a successful fasting.
Il y a la volonté et de deux, c'est psychologique. De trois, nous faisons ça pour Dieu et non pour quelqu'un d'autre. Et quand tu fais ça pour Dieu, franchement, il t'assiste.
At the end of each fasting day, some Muslims consume fresh fruits.
On nous conseille de manger des fruits, de boire du bouilli et de manger peu qui peut nous donner la force d'aller prier.
Je romps mon jeûne avec une date. Je prends un peu de l'eau chaude. Je vais à la mosquée faire la prière de Maghrib et je rentre. Et C'est là où je prends un repas léger.
Praying for peace and unity amongst other socio-economic challenges are key prayer points for the Muslim community during this period.
Away from religion, the International Forestry Day is being commemorated at a time when the forest in Cameroon is fast disappearing due to continuous felling of trees, resulting to negative environmental impact. Anabila in her report attributes the very harsh climatic conditions experienced in Cameroon on this human activity of felling of trees. Her report.
Statistics from environmental organizations indicate that approximately 10 million hectares of forest lands are lost annually across the world to deforestation, while over 70 million hectares of forest are destroyed by fires and other human activities. Considering the important role trees play in the livelihoods of humans, afforestation is imperative. To observe the World Forest Day, officials concerned with the environment and nature protection in the littoral encourage reforestation by symbolically planting a tree at the Pekadis neighborhood.
La loi même a prévu, n'est-ce pas, une gestion durable et participative de nos forêts, afin que les populations intègrent et participent, n'est-ce pas, à la protection de cette ressource-là.
Worthy of note is that forests contain over half the global carbon stock in soils and vegetation. Besides, forest watersheds and wetlands provide 75% of the fresh water humans drink or consume. Every March 21 is set aside to raise awareness of the importance of all types of forests. Countries are encouraged to undertake local, national and international efforts to organize activities involving forests and trees, such as tree planting campaigns. The theme for this year's World Forest Day is Forest and Innovation, New Solutions for a Better World. Remember, for every tree you fell, you must plant two, so as to preserve and protect our environment. Remember, to protect and preserve the environment for the coming generation, for every tree you fell, you must plant two.
And in news out of Cameroon, we take you to Sudan, precisely South Sudan, where at least 15 persons have lost their lives in an attack in Pibo, which according to authorities marks an escalation of violence in the country. Meanwhile, in Chad, the new electoral code is being criticized by the opposition, who complain it is not transparent. And in South Africa, the High Court orders the First National Bank to suspend the accounts of former President Jacob Zuma. AC Lucy Liengu compiled this report for us.
At least 15 persons have been killed in South Sudan in an attack that occurred on Tuesday. According to sources, the attackers ambushed the commissioner of Boma in Pibo when he was returning from a village, killing 15 persons, including the commissioner. It is suspected that the perpetrators are youth from a community within the region. South Sudan for years now has been battling with internal conflicts leading to civilian casualties and displacement. In Chad, 2 months to the presidential election, the new electoral code is at the heart of criticism. The opposition see it as a serious setback in terms of transparency, and the new electoral code undermines the credibility of the electoral process. And over to South Africa, 2 months before general elections, the High Court orders the First National Bank to freeze outgoing payments from the accounts of former South African President Jacob Zuma. According to a statement released on Wednesday morning by the bank, the decision to freeze Zuma's account was not an independent action, but rather a compliance with the court's mandate. Zuma's new party has accused the ruling ANC of being behind the move to humiliate the 81-year-old who is trying to revive his political career.
And that report done by AC Lucy Liengu ends puts an end to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much.